All right, for today's vlog, I just wanted to do an update from the last one because, well, I'll explain it in a minute. So just first of all, sorry for the background, but yeah, today's video is going to be just an update on Loki. And since I had taken him to the vet, I had filmed, I guess just normally vlog stuff because I hadn't heard, we were waiting for blood work to come back. And then I thought that I would just rather insert this update and then I'll just resume my vlog stuff on Wednesday. I'm gonna give you guys the update because I did just talk to the vet. And so anyways, since the last time that I talked about it, I had went and picked up Loki. So, because I think you guys saw Loki in the video later on, but after that day, I went and picked him up. Obviously, I don't have answers. They didn't treat him because they didn't want to treat him until they knew what was wrong with him. We had to just simply wait for the blood work. So had to go through the whole weekend. I think Thursday, Friday, I think I took him to the vet Wednesday, I think. And so Thursday, Friday, the results didn't come back the weekend and it's Monday now. And so I just heard from the vet. So basically Loki's blood work came back perfect. There's I guess it couldn't have looked more perfect. And so that he said, and his heartworm again came back negative. So again, that was just done to, I guess, be extra thorough because of that enlargement, or that very mild enlargement in his heart. So, and I don't think I said that in the video last time, but that's why they pushed for the heartworm again a second time, even though they're very confident in their in-house heartworm testing. It was simply because of the enlargement. So it wasn't that they didn't trust their own in-house testing, because in-house heartworm testing is accurate. But because of the heart issue, they just wanted to, I guess, confirm it through blood, if you will. So that came back negative again, and there was no fungal, I suppose, and I don't know if that's done through blood work, but he said that he showed Loki's file again with other colleagues, and that there's this thing which I literally just talked to him 20 minutes ago. So my mind is very much reeling, so please excuse that. It was just a lot of information to digest, and I don't even know what he called this thing, but basically it is something with the flap that's in his throat with some type of nerve issue, and that the flap could be stuck, or I don't know, it's not responding the way that it needs to, and this flap essentially prevents dogs from over inhaling water and food. And I guess it just allows, the right amount of water and the right amount of food to go down the throat at one time, whatever. And so he said that this would be in line with the fact that Loki's having these lung issues, because, right, we have to, Loki has an inflammation in his lungs, and both his right and left lungs were, obviously showing a bronchial pattern, as he said. So we have to find out what is causing that. If it is this flap, it would go in line with why Loki's having these issues with his lungs. I don't know, I guess too much water could be causing fluid in the lungs, and then the buildup to this. Okay. He was like, well, he was like, but you said that he only does the breathing thing. You've only seen it 3 times. And I was like, no. I had told him, I was like, actually, there were several things that I noticed with Loki. I said one thing was that he looks like he's having a breathing asthmatic episode, if you will. I don't know how else to describe it. I said, but then there's this other issue I've noticed where he seems to be choking on water and food, like he's inhaling it. So, and I had said that I thought that there was this issue with his lungs. And that's why I addressed his trachea and whatever. And he had told me that he saw his trachea in the x-ray and it wasn't collapsed. And so that's great news. I'm very, like, that would have been devastating. So he's prescribing Loki antibiotics and steroids. Very, very typical for a bronchial thing. The other option is that they can do this procedure, and he explained it. I don't know if I'm going to be saying it right, if I'm being honest, but something about sedating Loki. It is a big procedure, he said, and they put some type of tube in his throat or in his trachea or something, and then they do something that I guess shows them this flap. That is the issue. He said this is something that is found in big dogs to be a thing. So he said that the procedure would basically tell us if this is in fact what's wrong with Loki. And I said, okay. I said, he has this procedure. What happens when this procedure does point to the fact that there's a problem with this flap or whatever? He said, I would then get referred to a specialist who would basically, we would talk about surgery. So to fix the issue, whether it's stuck, it could be stuck, I don't know. But obviously I can't take Loki to a specialist and bypass this procedure, no matter how much we think, yeah, this is definitely it. Obviously we have to confirm that this is in fact, that there is an issue with this flap in his throat. And so I can't get to a specialist until we confirm. So we're getting quotes on this procedure. I do need to ask a question. It was a lot to process. I need to ask, do they know if this surgery is even is the surgery 100% usually successful? Or can the flap get stuck again? I need to know those things, right? Because that determination, is key here. He said that there's not a medicine that Loki can take to fix it. So either Loki can do surgery, or basically we could leave Loki as is. And he didn't say this, but this is another question I need to ask, but I'm assuming that this would mean that if Loki didn't do this procedure and he didn't do the surgery to fix this flap, then I would assume that Loki would probably need lifelong x-rays at certain intervals to confirm if he has his bronchial thing again, because he's still gonna, I think I'm gonna also change his water bowl. I think if I change his water bowl to not an open one where he can just overly drink too much, maybe slow down the amount of water at one time, I think will help. So I'm gonna do that. I don't know if you guys know the water bowl I'm talking about, but it's they have to kind of push their nose to get water out of this. So I'm gonna look into that. I am gonna talk to the vet about this. And then I'm also going to get him a different food bowl, the one where they has the grooves and he has to kind of work, which will then also slow down his inhaling. So the question, I'm assuming, and he also didn't say this, again, this was me assuming, that, okay, so if Loki doesn't do this procedure, which he says he doesn't have to, essentially, it is in a way livable, but obviously we would have to know when Loki's developing bronchitis again because of this issue. So, and how will I know? How will I know my dog is experiencing that again? Or when I won't. We'd have to continuously do x-rays. And then how often do we need to be doing x-rays? And anyways, and as sad as this sounds, it would have just been better to hear fungal pneumonia or heartworm, because boom, treated, done, you move on, if that makes sense. It is serious and it needs to be addressed, because this can turn into something that can kill him, if it's not found and whatever. So obviously bronchial can turn into pneumonia and other things. So So there's still a lot of questions I need to ask. I will be writing them down, and then I will be just kind of addressing that. And yeah, so I wish I had better news. I am so glad that I'm going to be going to getting his antibiotics. I'm just waiting. That's why I'm not going right now. He has to fill it. He's going to call me. He's going to give me a quote on the procedure. Essentially, I can't confirm that this is what's wrong with Loki, by the way. Like, it's still speculation. It's still just a thought. We won't confirm it unless Loki gets this procedure. The procedure is to see if that is what's wrong. Putting him through surgery, you know, can do stuff too. So I just want to make like the best decision I can for him. And seeing, I can't imagine logically, again, I'm not a vet, but my brain likes to think logically, surely changing his water bowl and his food bowl will at least minimize how often this is going to happen. Like, I have to imagine that we just have to kind of reduce how much he's getting in at one single time, if that makes sense. So anyways, yeah, that's it. Loki's down here. I'll show you guys. Here he is. And by the way, his personality is the same. He's always happy. He's always running. And his blood work came back perfect. So it's just a little something in his throat. Yeah. Say bye. Say bye, everyone. Say see you later.